Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. And it's that time again. Something stupid happened again, and, well, it's about time to make another one of those politically, sensitive videos, shall we say. And I debated with myself, can't really debate with yourself, but, you know, I dwelled on the fact for very, very long on whether I should make this video to begin with. Clearly you're watching it, so I did, so there's no point in taking up any more of your time, I suppose, on that, but, I suppose let's just get right into it, right? So, a few months ago, I think, at this point, it was like 2 months ago, I said that this behavior of mass media and journalist companies and all that needs to stop. That threatening individuals simply because you disagree with them or simply because it is profitable for you and ruining their lives and careers needs to stop because it is in no way, shape or form illegal or acceptable morally in any way, shape or form. And despite several people, shall we put it lightly, disagreeing with me on that, which I really don't think there's a point to, or there is an argument to disagree with my opinion that you shouldn't straight up lie about someone just because it will make you a quick buck, and in the process ruining their lives. Apparently some people are, I guess to use a trademark term that oh, I'm sorry. Terrible. that Total Biscuit uses, some fanboys just can't seem to accept this fact and accept that their favourite news outlet has done something wrong. So, the TLDR of it is CNN threatened a 15-year-old because he made a meme. Which, you'd think, how more ridiculous can we get? Well, you'd be surprised, and, you know, in fairness to everyone that's already covered this topic, because it's been, like, out for some time, for example, Stefan Molyneux, think of him what you may, think that he is unobjective, hate him all you want, but, he has made a great video on this, and he has raised several very objectively correct points. And he has just made a good video on this, and I fully agree with everything he said. Especially towards the end of that video. Paul Joseph Watson, again, think of him what you may, hate him, think he's not objective, doesn't matter. The man is correct in this instant, at the very least. It is not in any way, shape or form acceptable what just happened. And, so yeah, I wanted to address that, and we come into this situation where I am forced to say, I told you so, right? And, no, not to make myself out special or anything, it's not just me, but ultimately, we told you so, didn't we? We said that the media cannot continue to do this. That there will be repercussions, not violence or, you know, overreactions or whatever. No. Simple economic repercussions. You will start to lose credibility. You will die out. We warned of this, and we said that people will not trust you anymore. They do not. Look at the polls, look at the interview, look at the, there's various data on this.
There we go.
I think I've read several reports and several other journalist companies reporting just how little the general public trusts the news media outlets, the mainstream news media outlets nowadays, and it's just an affirmation of everything that was said several months ago. In fact, way before that by certain individuals, yes, but especially several months ago, so ultimately, we told you so. Damn, it feels good to say that. On a more serious note, though, a 15-year-old, a according to recent reports. Don't quote me on his age. I kind of want this video to be as objective as possible and to last. So he might not be 15-year-olds, but based on everything I've seen so far, it seems to indicate that he's 15. Again, don't hold my word to it. He might be older. At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. CNN threatened him because he made a GIF of Donald Trump. He basically, he took you've probably seen the GIF by now, like everyone has, but he took a GIF from Donald Trump appearing on WWE and like fighting someone, and instead of that someone, he photoshopped, or not photoshopped in, but he edited in the CNN logo instead of that person who was being beaten. I believe it was Vince McMahon at the time, but yeah. So 15 minutes it took to do that, right? 15-20 minutes of just casual work. Haha, that's pretty funny. On to the next thing that is on the internet, right? Until much, much later, the President of the United States of America tweets this. And CNN, in their infinite wisdom, and at this point I agree with Stefan Molyneux, how stupid can you be, decides to dox him. Those of you that aren't aware of what this is, and I have to admit I don't think I've heard the term before myself, which, I mean, I sort of understood what it meant, but I don't think I've ever heard the term doxed before. I try and stay out of it, to be honest, but this time I just couldn't resist. I felt like some moral responsibility for everything I've done a couple of months ago. For pitching in, I suppose, on this this entire anti-media story, if you will. So I felt some type of responsibility to follow up on this, because it felt cowardly to shut up now, right? And I want you to, I guess, bear in mind, in a way, I'm not looking for like anything really, not empathy, not people respecting me more or whatever, but I do this at some personal risk. Like, I risk my channel getting a copyright strike because of what I say about CNN. It has happened before, and there is evidence of this. You speak up against media, you know, a huge company or something, or one of the mainstream media websites, and well, you pay for it in spite of being in the land of liberty and free speech. And that's exactly what the problem here is. In my opinion, categorically and undoubtedly, CNN has violated free speech. And has violated a law. As a matter of fact, WikiLeaks and Julian Assange have pointed out to the specific paragraph of law they have violated according to the US Constitution and the US law and the US legislation and so on and so forth. He has pointed out which law specifically and has quoted the law in one of his tweets, so you can look that up on Twitter if you will. If I were a bit more professional, I would read it out right now, but that would require editing, and simply time and energy I do not wish to put into this despicable act. It's absolutely despicable. To threaten someone with violence, and I don't care what you say, the way that email was phrased was threatening with violence. Or at least it was insinuating the very same. Because he made a funny little gif. And to end it all off with saying, should you ever repeat this, we reserve the right to release all your public information and, to all intents and purposes, ruin your life? How stupid can you be? How idiotic, how moronic can you be? To openly and publicly threaten someone's basic right to free speech. Essentially what you've said is, if you disagree with us, if you dislike us, we will dox you, we will threaten you, we are watching, we are Legion, we are the fucking Stasi. despicable. And CNN fucked up, alright? And they had started with the internet and the mostly right-leaning, let's say right-wing leaning, turned out to right-leaning, yeah. The right-wing leaning individuals calling the, mostly calling the second great meme war. Which is funny in and of its own right. I find these things hilarious, I do. So what they did was just unleash a fury of memes upon CNN of basically the exact same content, right? Which is the CNN logo getting beat up by various different people, things, objects in various different situations. That's good. That's good. That's exactly how I think we should respond initially. But I'll get to that towards the end of the video more. I think what can be done about this and all that. But yeah, it's just this is mostly directed towards those who agree with CNN at this point, who think CNN has done nothing wrong. And you're going to say, oh, but the person that was threatened thinks CNN did nothing wrong. Yeah, you know what? Terrorist hostages think that the terrorists have done nothing wrong while they're still hostages, right? I mean, the man is being actively threatened. What do you think he's going to say? Yes, CNN threatened me. You think he's going to say that? Would you?
Got it.
No. No. You don't point a gun to someone's face and say, what do you think about me? Or some stupid shit like that. Simply don't do that. And the audacity to then tweet, I've contacted him after I've talked with him, and he says I've not threatened him. The audacity. Yeah, right. There's actually a great few pictures online that basically show ISIS beheading people, and then the comment the caption down below the video saying, I think ISIS has done nothing wrong, as long as I'm in their captivity. The audacity. I mean, that is... I perceive that as just damage control at this stage. But be that as it may, it's CNN. No matter what I say is going to change anything, so... What I can do is address the people who think nothing...
Hey.
No wrongdoing has happened, and nothing wrong has happened with the entire situation. And do you all have to say, where do you live? Where on earth do you think you live? What is wrong with you? To violate someone's most basic human right, to threaten him because he made a funny gif. You think there is nothing wrong with this. To threaten him by releasing public information, and the way this was phrased, I think needs a little bit of clearing up. It's not the fact that we're gonna tweet out where you live, right? It's not that. It's the fact that we're gonna tweet out exactly what you did. We're gonna call you a racist. We're gonna give you all of these other labels, and then we're gonna contact your employer, and then we're gonna contact your school, and then we're gonna contact your parents, and then we're gonna contact other family members, and then we're gonna contact their employers, right? And that's the phrasing here. That's the underlying context. This is simply unacceptable in the time and era and land in which we live in. And I felt, again, as much as others have done great coverage of this, I feel a moral responsibility to respond in outrage and disgust at what they had done. And I said, some time ago, I said, they attacked a YouTuber. They attacked several, as a matter of fact. First the big ones, then they went after a couple of smaller ones. Gave them, you know, essentially the same thing. Started labeling them violent, racist, terrorists. What did the person do? Made a video showcasing his knife. Reviewing it. Rather professionally. Reviewing it. And then they started going after individuals. Not popular YouTubers, not celebrities, individuals. And whilst people like several other famous YouTube celebrities, and I don't want to say people like myself because I'm nowhere near famous, but, you know, people with an audience have something to rely upon. Have some dose of, I don't want to call it security, but have something behind them. For example, these YouTubers had their audience to back them up, and they signed petitions to release their videos and to... Yeah, they created outrage. A 15-year-old kid, again, if he's 15, doesn't really matter, but kids don't have this.
Won't be able to pick this.
Okay? And it sickens me to my stomach to think that a 20 or 30-something-year-old journalist can find the strength within him to look himself in the mirror in the morning and say, I threatened a 15-year-old to ruin his life because he created a GIF. It sickens me that this can go by unnoticed, that this can go by unpunished. It sickens me. And what do I mean by unpunished? Well, call me skeptical, call me pessimistic, but I think we're just going to forget about this. There's been no Fox News coverage of this, there's been no other mass media coverage of the event so far. Some independent media sources and a few people have mentioned this, but now a few tweets here and there, that's about it. I fear that we're going to forget this, and it's going to happen again and again and again. And I said, they went after companies first, they went after institutions. It's fine, they have teams of lawyers behind them. They went after famous celebrities, which is... Ultimately, they are just individuals, but... You know, there is a difference, I suppose. There shouldn't be, but... Objectively speaking, there is a difference between attacking a celebrity and a 15-year-old. And now they went after... nobody. Nobody's, basically. From a celebrity standpoint, you know, from a popularity standpoint, from a... social significance, I suppose, standpoint. What I mean by this, no, calling them nobodies is not exactly getting my point across, is it? I apologise. What I mean is they went after random individuals that are not members of some neo-Nazi organisation or something. They went after kids on Reddit. I said this would happen. Eventually it would come to this. I said this is a dying man's last gasp of fresh air. Bring attention to them again. Even if it is the complete wrong and horrible type of attention. And you wonder why nobody trusts you. You wonder why nobody considers you a reliable source of information anymore. Again, there are polls you can look up on exactly what I mean by this. I find it sickening, but for all the good that'll do us, I feel like last time it is simply fair of me to say what I will be doing based on, as a response, I guess, to this. And what I think people should do as a response to this. And that is... don't allow this to be a thing. They only get paid because people watch them. Much is true for myself and for all other YouTubers. Much is true for many things in the entertainment... well, realistically, for all things in the entertainment and media industry. So don't let this just be forgotten. as Stefan Molyneux said, and again, think of him what you may, resist and fight them in a civilized manner, fight them without violence, fight them legally. Brutally, but legally. But we are better than them. And actually someone, I can't verify to 100% the accuracy of this information, but someone actually doxed the journalist who doxed the 15-year-old, yeah? So there is his information available on the internet, but I say don't do that. Don't do anything illegal, because we are above that. We as a society, as a community of Jesus fucking Christ! All right, that scared me. We as a society and as a community of ultimately just people who use the internet, right? We're above that. So I would urge you to not do anything illegal naturally. The problem is, I'm highly skeptical that this will ever, you know, achieve anything in court. This case, specifically. Because you have a situation where they have the victim by the proverbial and literal, weak spot. I was gonna swear. I was. And there is very little the court can do at this stage. Right? And I doubt that he will be willing to testify or to in any way point the finger at CNN and say, yes, they did threaten me, or there will be any compelling evidence to this, but you know, any provable compelling evidence to this, despite the fact that it's extremely obvious what happened and all that, but ultimately it doesn't matter. Right? Ultimately, whatever the case may be, however this ends, it's not going to change much in the courtroom. Right? What can they do? Ultimately, they can pay a fine, I guess. Very little else they can do. A courtroom is not going to change the media situation in the world at this stage. And mostly the United States, but that has repercussions and influences elsewhere in the world, of course, as well. You know, a court case is not going to change this, if there is going to be one, which again, I'm highly skeptical. But not letting things like this become acceptable is something that's going to change the situation. And I would like to urge you again to not forget cases like these, and to not forget Han-Asshole Solo. Because we are all Han-Asshole Solo at the end of the day, if practices like these continue. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Juggernaut. Please remember to like and subscribe down below if you enjoyed this video and want to support the channel. We do gaming stuff here, we do fun stuff, we don't talk about politics most of the time, until shit like this hits the fan. But yeah, check out the rest of the channel if you're interested in Let's Plays, reviews, video games, and things like that. Until next time, have fun, take care, and bye-bye.